I've got the poll, but it says I'm not allowed to vote.
Yeah,
Very much want to. I feel like I want to participate.
You want to rig the results here, guys.
I'll let you participate in the next one. So you
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Matt Sayer. Welcome to the Wayfair Onward Career Tour. We've got some hashtags for this event. We've got two, actually. First one is hashtag hire a duck. So if you're doing social media, that's a good one. Another hashtag is Onward Eugene. What's a good Wayfair hashtag, you guys?
Oh, goodness.
I would say Wayfair at work.
There we go. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Wayfair at work.
That's one of our main ones.
So I'm Matt Sayer, Managing Director of Onward Eugene. Onward Eugene is an economic development nonprofit here focused on inclusive economic prosperity. I'm also U of O class. Well, I'm not going to say what year I was, but I will tell you, I was an economics major, minor in business, minor in geography, and I'm also your tour guide for the next hour. Onward Career Tours are an interactive experience that enables students and businesses to meet from where they are today. This program introduces students at no cost to a variety of careers and companies that have a presence here in Eugene Springfield. This fantastic series is produced in part with the University of Oregon Career Center. My friend Holly Tate is here with us today. Do you want to say hi, Holly?
Yeah, my name is Holly, and I work at the Career Center in the employer engagement area. And my job is to help connect students with employers and career development opportunities in Eugene Springfield. So we're really excited to be partnering with Onward Eugene and give you the opportunity to meet our friends at Wayfair today.
Awesome. And so one last housekeeping item before I introduce our friends at Wayfair. We'll be using the QA feature of Zoom today. So down in the bottom sort of left area, it's the letter Q, the and symbol, and A. That's where you'll want to enter your questions. Feel free to enter those at any time. We've disabled chat, but the QA feature is absolutely open, and we'd love to hear from folks in attendance. What else? Let's just go ahead and get started. I'm excited to introduce to you Joel Johnson, Jasmine Patton, Tony Sayachith, Marissa Chisholm. But before we do that, I've already forgotten. Holly, do you want to share with us the results of the poll?
Yeah, well, I mean, great thing that you just introduced everybody, because it seems like the most of the people that are participating are really here just to learn about the company. So now we know at least 4 people who work there. So a great way to lead off that poll. But yeah, there's a lot of great things we're going to be able to talk about today. But we really just wanted students to have a good idea of what it's like to be a part of Wayfair, how exciting it is to be a part of the Eugene business community, and learn more about your career paths and how you ended up in these awesome jobs.
All right, very cool. I appreciate it. So I'll go ahead and kick us off. So, so my name is Joel Johnson, and I'm the site director for the facility. So essentially, while I run our service organization and the service team that's here in Springfield, I also have responsibility for kind of all teams within the 4 walls of the space, you know, and the partnership between some of the different support groups and organizations that we have on site here as well. So I'll introduce myself a little bit more formally in just a minute, and as well as turning it over to the team so they can give you their introductions as well. I am going to have to follow up with you after this, Matt, to find out. I am also a Duck alumni, so I'm an Oregon Duck as well, and I want to compare years to see see how this comes down. So we'll have to talk about that.
Nice.
So, and I was a journalism and communications major, so a little bit about my educational background. And I know the team will share more here in just a few minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screens, and we really want to make this as interactive as possible. And so I'm really looking forward to your questions and want to get the team involved in sharing more about their own experiences. Every single person that we've got on this call has kind of a different career background and experience, and we've got members of several teams represented here. So looking forward to them sharing their own perspectives as well. So make sure. So hopefully everybody can now see the presentation, the introduction to Wayfair. Good. All right, cool. So real quick, this is the agenda. We're going to go over just who's Wayfair, our company culture and values, the team's introductions, where we'll locate our operations, the site itself here locally, opportunities to partner or to get engaged, how we hire, our benefits, some current openings that we have, and Q&A. So starting off, and just I'm going to burn through some of these really quickly. So who is Wayfair? When we talk to our new hires, we essentially say that Wayfair is a technology and logistics company with a passion for customer experience, and we just happen to sell furniture and home goods, right? That's essentially how we present our organization to our new hires. Because at the end of the day, Wayfair really is a technology company. When we look at the types of companies that we're similar to, what we focus on, what we do, while we compete with companies like Crate and Barrel or Ashley Furniture or IKEA, Walmart, Target, Overstock, all kinds of companies like that. The company that we feel most similar to are companies like Amazon, companies that have built a technology platform, sell goods. We just happen to be focused on the home goods space. But those are the companies that we're most similar to. So we're a Fortune 500 company, joined the list in 2019, even though the company's been around since the early 2000s. Recently here locally, our Springfield site was recognized as the #5 top business to work for in the state of Oregon for 2020. So we're thrilled to get that honor in our first year of operations. The company itself is headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts. We've got 15 major fulfillment centers nationwide that support our logistics network. 10 customer service centers and a large virtual presence, which now in the current state of affairs, we've transitioned all of our employees to work from home. So even though we have a 52,000 square foot call center here in Springfield, all 400 of our employees are now working from home remotely, with everything that's going on. And it's great that we have the technology to be able to offer the opportunity to do that. But even beyond that, we do have a portion of our customer service organization and our leadership team that works in a virtual setting. We've got more than 16,000 employees in the company and continuing to grow very, very rapidly. Europe is an emerging market for us, so we also have a European headquarters in Germany, and we've got some call center organizations in overseas in Ireland and Germany as well. Major functions for us as an organization: information technology, logistics and supply chain, customer service and sales, merchandising, retail, engineering, product marketing, talent. All of those are major portions of our business. Wayfair is more than just one brand. We actually have a suite of different brands that we market, goods and all things home. Joss& Main is another Wayfair brand, as our Birch Lane, AllModern, Perigold. We occasionally have new brands that kind of come and go, and we feature brands from all kinds of other suppliers, from large, very recognizable furniture and home goods companies down to smaller niche organizations and suppliers as well. So our core values as an organization, right? There's three main facets to what we ultimately focus on in our strategy for success in the marketplace, right? It's people, execution, and collaboration. So from a people perspective, our focus is on stacking the most talented, driven, solution-oriented people against the toughest problems. As a technology company, we believe very heavily in collaboration and empowerment and engagement, and innovation. And so we like bringing people to the table who want to participate in giving us suggestions, providing information, making recommendations, identifying gaps or opportunities or ways that we can grow our business, and engaging with members of the leadership team and our corporate organizations to improve and grow the business. So from an execution perspective, once we've identified and found and hired the most talented, driven, engaging individuals, we want to give them the runway to execute quickly and effectively. So we've got a good comprehensive training program. We get people up to speed and out in the world serving our customers very, very rapidly. And over the first 6 months of somebody's employment with us, we give people the opportunity to upskill. So everybody starts as a Skill 1 consultant and then upskills into Skill 2 and Skill 3 over the first 6 months, and earns pay increases at each one of those changes. And the more people learn about the business, the more opportunities it gives them to engage and participate in either some of our specialized teams, or even participate in providing feedback and recommendations on how we can further improve our product, our website, our logistics, the different aspects of our business. And the last piece, collaboration. So taking people, getting them trained, giving them the runway to execute quickly. Part of how we give people the opportunity to execute quickly is by collaborating, right? By creating relationships where people can work collaboratively with each other. If you were to come down and visit our physical office, it's a very open space environment. No walls, nobody has offices. If you head to our corporate headquarters, the 2 billionaire founders of the organization have the same 2 foot by 4 foot height adjustable desks that all of the rest of us, all the way to our frontline consultants. We all have the exact same furniture and desks. They work very openly. They're out there on the floor amongst people and members of other teams. I myself, as far as where I sit in the site when we're there, am surrounded. All of my neighbors are frontline service consultants, and our leaders are spread out across the floor throughout the organization, so that everybody is sitting. So that our leadership team is all surrounded by people who are interacting with our customers on a regular basis to really keep a constant finger on the pulse of the vibe of what's going on in our business and what it's like, and being available to answer questions and support our team members. We encourage people to do that with each other as well. So that's a little bit about Wayfair and the kind of company that we are. Just to introduce ourselves, our team. So I'll turn it over here. So again, as I mentioned, I'm Joel Johnson. I'm the site director. Thrilled to have joined Wayfair about a year and a half ago. I lived in Oregon for 17 years previously. I've been in customer service for about 20 years, a little over 20 years at this point. I hate saying that. So a little over 20 years in customer service. About half of that time I've spent in the wireless industry. So with the company that became T-Mobile USA, and kind of growing and running call center organizations for them in Oregon, Tennessee, and Texas. Moved to Texas from Oregon. I went to the University of Oregon, graduated from here with my degree in journalism and communications, went to work for T-Mobile, eventually moved to Texas. And for the last 11 years, I worked in Texas in a variety of different software companies, some startups, some larger, more established software organizations. About 8 of those years, I was with 2 different property management software companies. Prior to joining Wayfair, I was the Senior Vice President of Client Services and Operations for a property management software company in Plano, Texas. I had a lot of different job responsibilities and different functions that fell under my scope of responsibility. Started looking for a new opportunity, and Wayfair reached out to me and was actually recruiting me to go run their Bryan, Texas call center. And as I progressed through the interview process, and my interviewers found out about all my ties to Oregon, when it got to the last phase, they said, hey, hate for you to join the company and then find out in 4 weeks that we're going to be putting our next call center in Springfield, Oregon. So if you had the chance to come and run Bryan, Texas, or go launch Springfield, what would you prefer? And I was thrilled to have the opportunity, and very excited to make the decision to come back here and launch the site. And for the last year and a half, I've been out here launching and leading our Springfield Center, and it's been one of the fastest and most successful launches in the company's history. We've done a lot of great work. I've hired a bunch of wonderful people in the community, and we're very pleased with how things are going thus far. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm going to turn it over to Jasmine to go ahead and introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jasmine Patton. I am a member of the Oregon recruiting team. I have been with Wayfair for a year and 1 day, actually, so exciting that I just hit my anniversary before this event. I actually moved out to Springfield from Columbus, Ohio, so from the Midwest to the Pacific Northwest a year ago as well, to help launch this center and join the team, and it has been an incredibly rewarding experience. I love the team that we have in Springfield, and I love everyone that we've onboarded since. It's been so fun, so fast-paced, like Joel said, and really just exciting.
And Jasmine, while we're on your introduction, do you want to also share your main job responsibilities too?
Yeah, so as a recruiter, I connect with folks for our customer service, large parcel, and sales opportunities, which are the 3 main departments that we have in our call center in Springfield.
Awesome. Thank you. And Tony, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Yeah, can do. Thanks, Joel. Hi, everyone. My name is Tony Sacheth. I manage our local IT team here in our Springfield call center. My team provides technical support to the call center for issues related to computer systems, software, and hardware. We really serve as the first point of contact for end users seeking technical assistance for either over the phone or through our ticketing system that we have. As far as me, my journey with Wayfair started back in April of 2011. I've been with the company for 9 years. I initially started my career in Ogden, Utah. We had a call center open up there when our corporate office decided to expand our customer service operations from Boston. So Ogden, Utah is where I grew up. I recently relocated to Oregon within the last year. So within my time here with Wayfair, I've been able to wear several hats during my tenure with the company. I initially got hired on as an email consultant. What we did there was respond to customer sales and service email inquiries. I then moved on to a role on one of our specialized service teams who handled customer escalations. From there, I really had an interest in helping drive change with how we service our customers and applied for an open role in our quality assurance team. Worked there for a couple of years, and got promoted to manager for that team, and really learned a lot about the business and its operations. It was really cool to be a part of. I then moved over to manage a project team within that umbrella. We worked on a new speech-to-text software program that we would use to help automate our quality assurance process and provide really valuable data and reporting to the business. And then I took a little bit of a turn in my career path and found an interest in IT. Through the years working with Wayfair, had been able to learn a lot about the technology we use within our company, found it really interesting, moved over to an IT help desk role, worked there, but I still had a passion for leadership and coaching people and mentoring. So I made my way back to a management role within IT. So that really gave me the best of both worlds. It's really brought me to where I'm at today. It's been an awesome journey. I love the work that I do and love being part of such an innovative company.
Now, Tony, you are such old school Wayfair. You're actually Wayfair, right?
I'm pre-Wayfair, where it was we were CSN stores back then.
Right. So Tony's our archivist. He
Yeah.
brings a lot of the, it's always good to have that person on the team who knows, the history well beyond when anybody else joined. And Tony brings
Can I
it.
hit you with a slight curveball question since we're talking original origin stories? So in researching Wayfair, one, you guys have grown to a $17 billion in terms of market cap company today, but things started like real humble beginnings. And I read that like a lot of great companies, you guys were born out of your founder's garage. But the part that I'm most curious about was the original website. And the way I read it, and I think this was from like Wikipedia, so it's a reliable source, that the original website was for bird feeders. Is that true?
I think it was actually bird houses.
Bird houses, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then it expanded to speaker stands and
racksandstands.com.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, the founders, Steve and Neers, they really kind of, they did some SEO, some research as far as what people are Googling and wanting to buy most. And those are kind of the things that came up in the websites, that the products that people were looking at the time, I guess. So who would have known bird feeders?
Yeah, if you're interested, there is when I know that at least when I was hired on, there's a podcast that you can find online called "How I Built This," right? How I Built This Wayfair. That is Steve and Neers. It's about 40 minutes long, talking about how they, how the company was, born and founded and grew. It's really engaging, and it's definitely, I would recommend it. It was great advice that I got in the interview process to read and listen to it and really understand kind of how the company grew. And it's really an intriguing story, and they're a very entertaining couple of guys. So,
love it. Thank you.
No problem. And Marissa, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
I'd be more than happy to. So my name is Marissa Chisholm. I have been working for Wayfair since almost a year now, and June 17th was when I started. I actually learned about Wayfair at a U of O spring career fair. That's where I was first turned on to the opportunity. And before Wayfair, I graduated from the University of Oregon with East Asian Language and Literature as my major in Japanese. I went to live in Japan for about a year. I went to work in Florida at Disney World. Figured that I could not have it. I'm born and bred Pacific Northwest, so I had to come back here and start my roots. So I've been able to start planning those with Wayfair. I first started as a customer service representative, where I was actually able to communicate with our customers and find those creative solutions that people are able to do day in and day out for them. And then about 4 months into the position, I was in the right place at the right time, and I was offered a role as a service manager. So now I manage a team of about 15 to 18 consultants, where I'm able to basically take all of the information and all of the data that comes from every single contact and interpret them into coachable moments and ways to pivot so that they can offer the best customer experience for our customers.
So Marissa joined us, and thank you guys all. Marissa joined us in our first class when we launched the site last year as one of our consultants, and performed exceptionally well and was one of the first people that we had the opportunity to promote internally to the management team, and is now coaching other consultants on how to grow and hopefully accomplish the same successes in their careers that she has. So, all right, I'm going to dive back into a little bit of the presentation to cover a couple more points, and we can pick up other questions as we go. Presentation back? Yes. All right, cool. So the employer brand promise and a little bit of the focus of the company, right? Wayfair is all about creating a very, very inclusive, supportive culture. And these are pictures from our ribbon cutting September this past year. So just left of center, the guy in the white shirt with the glasses holding the scissors, just left of center, and kind of the burgundy-ish. It's more purple when you see it in person, but the burgundy-ish suit. That's Steve Conine. That's one of our two founders. So so that was during the ribbon cutting a year ago when we had, I think we were right around 200 employees at that point. We focus on being a community of innovators, risk takers, trailblazers, celebrate our differences, know our unique perspectives, make us stronger, smarter, well-positioned for success. We hire people because we look for particular attributes when people are joining the organization, things like people who exude team building and culture, critical thinking, innovation and results, communication and persuasion, right? Some of the key attributes that we ultimately look for employee in our team members, is we want to be able to teach people how to do the job, how to do the work, how to use the tools, many of which are homegrown and internally developed. As a technology company, it's not just the website, Wayfair.com and these other brand platforms that we've created. It's also the internal tools that we use. So our CRM platform, what we use to support our customers, our email platform, the chat platform that we're ultimately rolling out. Those are all internally developed tools by coders and developers within our organization. So purpose-built tools for our work, the way that we do work. And what that gives us a great opportunity to do is that really gives us an opportunity to tailor and customize the tools to how we ultimately each do our jobs and the work that we do as an organization. And it really requires a lot of involvement and engagement and the opportunity to get people helping in building the next iteration of those tools to make us more efficient and effective at doing our jobs. So it's a great ecosystem to be involved in, about not just doing the work, but then also making the work easier and contributing to how that work evolves as well. So award-winning culture. So, again, all about, inclusion and being supportive. This is one of the things that I was most excited about. One of the things I enjoyed most about kind of launching the site here in the local community was utilizing some of the resources and the opportunities that Wayfair makes available to us as a business to support the community. So I personally love the fact that Wayfair gives every employee 8 hours of paid volunteerism time to, per year to volunteer for different community organizations. And we look to really leverage that. So just in the short span of time that we've been here, you can see on the left some of the organizations here locally that we volunteered with repeatedly. Green Hill, Friends of Trees, United Way, Bags of Love, Food for Lane County, the Eugene Science Center. There's a whole lot more. This was just what we could fit on the slide. There's a lot of pictures from the different events and team members that have gone out and participated at some of these different sorts of things. Often these are very frequent. We volunteered with Food for Lane County on a weekly basis. Every Tuesday night. With Bags of Love every month, with Friends of Trees, every weekend during their planting seasons. Because really that's the kind of company that we are. We're a company that really believes in taking care of other people, right? We're a service-minded organization, a service-minded community, and we know that about Eugene Springfield. It's one of the big reasons that we picked this community, right? As we felt like the focus and the belief, the way that this community is structured really aligns to our company values. And so we wanted to demonstrate that by showing our interest and getting engaged in the community early on. It's been very successful for us. So in addition to being recognized as one of the top businesses, top large companies to work for in the state of Oregon last year, we also received an award from the mayor of Springfield, being the Spirit of Springfield Award winner, the Large Business Spirit of Springfield Award winner for the city for 2019 as well, which is a huge honor for us also. So diversity, equity, and inclusion. One of the other things that we do as a business, another part of our culture is we support the idea, a part of how we support diversity, equity, and inclusion is that within the organization, employees can form employee resource groups, right? Affinity groups that ultimately align with how they identify with their beliefs. In Springfield alone, we have 4 currently. We have a Veterans ERG for former military members. We have a Pride ERG for members of the LGBTQ community. We have a Women at Work ERG, and we have a Way Native for individuals individuals who have Native American heritage, right? So employee resource groups can be formed by a group of 4 or more employees, to bring people, kind of like-minded of similar background or interest group together, to build that community environment within the organization, then find ways to ultimately share information about that group with other employees or get involved in other groups within the community, to demonstrate that that we're an organization that supports individuals of all kinds of diverse backgrounds and interests, and it's a great aspect to our business to help people find an organization where they feel like they can connect with other people and really feel comfortable, as a part of that organization, no matter how they identify. So where we operate, you can see this is just a map of the network as it exists between, fulfillment centers, middle mile and distribution agents, which are part of our delivery network, and our sales and service centers. And this map continues to grow every year. Continuing to expand as we increase our operations. How we operate, won't spend a whole lot of time on this, but essentially, as I mentioned, logistics is a big part of what we do. So we have our own logistics network. So, within the organization, so getting products from our suppliers to our customers. We have our own fleet of trucks. We do a lot of shipping with FedEx and UPS and other carriers, especially on some of our smaller items, but a lot of our larger ticket items, couches, pieces of furniture, things like that. We use our own trucks, our own logistics, our own distribution network, which is a big part of how we are becoming able to deliver things faster and faster for our customers. Amazon really set the tone in a lot of regards with Prime and, being able to get products to people within 2 days. And that's really become, the standard in the bar. And it's oftentimes it's very easy to do that with a book, or a Blu-ray. If people still buy those, I almost said DVD. I would have said that would have made me seem very old. Books, Blu-rays, whatever else, the other, kitchen utensils, items, things, whatever stuff, it's easy to do that with smaller parcel items. It's a lot of times it's a lot harder to get a couch to somebody in 2 days, right? Or those sorts of things. But by having our own logistics network, and how we're approaching, our own improvements, and where we position fulfillment centers, middle mile, and how we're building that out, it's giving us the ability to deliver more and more of any size item, small or large parcel, much, much faster. And we are at a point to where, oftentimes current climate and things going on notwithstanding, under normal operating circumstances, oftentimes able to get large parcel items to people within 2 days as well. So a little bit more about our local site. So currently over 350 team members in Springfield, on our way to 550, 52,000 square foot call center locally, located super conveniently in the old Semantic building, close to I-5, not that far from the U of O, the ocean. I mean, anybody who lives here knows how close we are to all these things. So move on from there. So the last piece on this portion before engaging the team again a little bit more, how we ultimately partner together, our local strategy. Community involvement is huge. We're committed to being a destination employer in the Eugene Springfield community through how we participate in volunteerism, chambers of commerce, engagements such as this, supporting the university or any other groups where we can do any sort of professional coaching. We're working with different nonprofits and charities, to provide career coaching and counseling services. Our recruiting team is getting involved, and trying to help you, whether we're hiring at certain times or not. The recruiting team is getting involved in trying to utilize their skill sets to help others. Workforce boards, special workforce task forces, and educational institutions. And then again, as our workforce here in Springfield grows, we look forward to offering, to growing our company by offering additional employment experiences. Right now, customer service consultants on our front lines. We have inbound sales consultant roles, large parcel support, which is another portion of our network, as well as promotional opportunities and leadership roles. So, all right, so before we head into Jasmine and kind of talking about some of those, I'd love to turn it over to the team members and ask. So, Jasmine, Melissa, Tony, do you guys want to share a little bit about what you guys like about, what is working for Wayfair? What's it mean to you guys given your different roles? So question, sorry, more specifically, what do you like best about working for Wayfair, Jasmine?
Hey, before you take the question, maybe we could poll our attendees real quickly and cue Holly up to ask what attributes are most important to you for your first post-college job.
Great.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'll go first. So I think One of my favorite things about Wayfair, Joel touched on when he was walking through our culture. I think we are very inclusive. We definitely want everyone to feel seen, heard, and safe at work and free to be their true and authentic selves. I don't think that I've ever worked anywhere that was quite this inclusive, and I think that it's wonderful. And we are definitely committed to giving back. It's important, to be involved in the Springfield Eugene community, and we've done a lot of that. But I think everyone that we hire is just as passionate about it, so it helps us continue broadening our reach.
Awesome. Thank you.
I would say what my favorite thing about working for Wayfair currently is that there's not really one cookie cutter method to doing anything. Wayfair really allows you to make creative solutions in every facet of every single department and are allowing you to be flexible. I've noticed that even amongst my teammates and amongst other departments that there's multiple ways to be successful and multiple ways to really thrive in your position. There's not really one set way of doing that. And sort of to go off of what Jasmine was saying, that's why we look for so many diverse and different perspectives, because that really does allow the person to flourish when given their roles and responsibilities.
Yeah, I think I would echo both Jasmine and Marissa. One being the culture and the people. I think Steve and Nirsh, who are the founders of the company. I think back 9 years ago, it was very much a startup vibe, and it really still sends the startup vibe even after we've grown so big. And they've been able to do that by building this culture around just very people centric. And so one example being teams can have is what we call pod outings, where the company will pay for you to go out as a team and have fun. And so the culture is really cool to have. Love, as far as career wise, I mean, obviously, as I described in my path, it's very much an entrepreneurial environment where really you can learn a lot from the company and go anywhere you'd like. And so it's very flexible. There's not really always, starting when I first started, I had no idea I'd be in IT, to be honest. So, but here I am today and loving it. So.
Yeah, that's a great segue, Tony, into kind of what our audience is also feeling about what their perspective ideas about what they want in their first job. And I think a lot of the things Joel's has talked about with this idea of being a part of an organization that really has strong values and really in the way that it interacts with the community and interacts with their own employees seems to be something that's really valued by our audience as well. And then they also talked a lot about this opportunity for work-life balance, which I think y'all have some really unique ways that you're approaching that with opportunities for time off to be able to serve in the community, but also the flexibility of your jobs to be able to have time to balance multiple things and be a part, especially in kind of this new remote world that we're all living in. I'm looking forward to hearing some of your comments later about how this transition's been for you guys.
Yeah,
Definitely.
let's talk about that. What is the kind of current state of your industry and Wayfair at large, and how you guys are sort of pivoted as a result of COVID-19?
Sure. So in regards to that, so state of the business in this particular industry, right? Wayfair has had a goal. We've been growing our virtual organization. So we have, physical call center organizations nationwide, but we also had a pretty large virtual team, and we were working on getting it to a point to where those teams were about equal sized, right? We were a little bit on the lower end and on the virtual team, and some of the, it was an opportunity people had to volunteer for and ask to go, to become a part of the virtual team and meet certain criteria about having a quiet office space and, a closed door so that, people could be in an isolated, kind of set aside workspace from a living area and not have other distractions and things like that. So there's a lot of criteria around the opportunity to work from home. When the situation occurred, when the coronavirus situation really started impacting the United States and businesses a few months ago, we made the decision very quickly as an organization to transition our workforce to home, right? So we literally disassembled the workstations in the office. We put together training videos to teach people how to disassemble it. We put out a quiz to make sure that people had the right speed internet, and the vast majority, over 94% of our people had, home internet that would support being able to do work from home. So we pulled the trigger quickly to deploy everybody to work from home, and there were some concerns around could our network ultimately support it, and it has, and it's been a champ, and we've been able to do it. So we moved 100% of our service organization to a virtual environment and have been able to continue serving our customers with no real negative impact on anybody's individual performance. People are still working their schedules. The company is still being very, very successful with that. What we've seen in the business is that, for Wayfair as an organization, we've seen our call volume has actually grown through this situation. And personally, I think there's a couple of keys to that. It's with people spending more time at home. It's like, if you look at the cushions on your, the pillows on your couch, it's like if you only see them an hour or two a day, it may not cross your mind, but when you're there staring at them, like 10, 12 hours a day, God, it is time to get new pillows, right? So with people being at home more, we've seen people shopping more for home items. Home office setups, buying desks and chairs and things to get the kids set up to be able to do remote school from home, right? Or just refreshing things around their house, in between the subsidy and things like that are going on. So we've actually seen a significant increase in our call volume. As we've talked to people, we've said, that this is an industry, shopping in this space is something that it's a huge, several hundreds of billions of dollars a year in the home goods space in the United States. And part of our focus has been that eventually that will move from the traditional brick and mortar to online, right? That the business was moving that direction. That's why Wayfair has been growing over the last 17 years. Well, now when you're all of a sudden in a situation like this, where a catalyst sort of event occurs and the majority of those brick and mortar competitors are closed and unavailable, and people are at home, there's a need and an intent and an interest in shopping, and if fewer other options, our traditional competitors are no longer available. It's driven a massive increase in our business. So things are very, very busy for us lately. I think one of the other impacts that we've seen is all of those preconceived notions around what it takes to work from home or to work virtually reasonably, right? Those things about having to have a quiet environment and stuff. I think the world has become very tolerant of the situation because of things and has gotten very forgiving about those sorts of things. You hear it on the phone with our customers all day long that when you hear our consultants, kids in the background or their pets or it's like, my dog has decided that he needs to spend just about every hour of the day in the office here with me, and maybe about 5 times a day he's got to come hop up on my lap when I'm on a video call. People are okay with that, right? I think previously there were concerns that people would be kind of critical and judgmental, and that you couldn't, you had to make it seem like you were in an office someplace and it was very quiet and there were no interruptions and distractions. And now people just appreciate having somebody there on the other end of the phone, and there's a certain level of kind of heartwarmingness about feeling like you're engaging with a genuine, sincere, other human being who has it's got some things going on in the background, because we all do at this point in time, right? And I think that's one of the things that I've enjoyed most about, dialing in and listening to calls on a regular basis, is hearing how both our customers and our employees are making that situation easier on each other, right? I think customers enjoy the opportunity to connect with another human being that's not there in their house and kind of hear some of that genuineness and that humanness going on in the background. And our people are appreciating the fact that they're not getting chewed on. That customers are tolerant to that. They get it, they understand, and it's creating some opportunities for some very genuine, sincere connections, which I think is helping everybody through what we've got going on. And bolstered by the fact that we've got a huge increase in volume and tons of people calling in and becoming customers of ours for the first time. It's we're just trying to do everything that we can the right way for everybody that we're trying to serve.
Yeah, I think I fill 2 of those boxes that you just mentioned. My last webinar, my cat broke into my home office and came across the keyboard, and we just got some pillows delivered actually from Wayfair. So check both boxes. Hey, Holly, let's queue up the next poll. And while we do that, let's offer up this question, which comes to us from Keith Dussel. Keith asks, you've spoken about the advantages of going virtual and the growth of sales. What do you recommend that students focus on to prepare for the new format and structures of jobs at Wayfair?
Great question. So my immediate answer to that would be the single biggest thing that I look for, and I'm interviewing people for our frontline positions right now. This week I'm working with Jasmine on that. So what I look for is I look for people who are, if I'm interviewing somebody, if I were to close my eyes and think about what if this person was on the phone, taking my call as a customer, is this person engaging? Is this person charismatic? Is this person friendly? Is this person articulate? Right. I've joked with my leadership team that I enjoy hiring characters. I enjoy hiring people who are 90% awesome and 10% what? Because that it's, those quirks and stuff, it's like you can sound as polished and robotic and you can read from a script and stuff and you can get the job done, but not be an engaging human being. Right. So I like people who are confident in who they are and just genuinely wired. Our interview process really screens for people who are genuinely wired to be successful in this kind of job. So I think that's really the best thing. That call center jobs are a job that it's a huge industry. There's lots of opportunities out there. And it's easy to become the type of thing that people just look for a paycheck. But at least at Wayfair, it's there's a very significant focus on the importance. I mean, you've got to just genuinely be that kind of person who likes to take care of other people, and it's got to come through in your voice.
Thanks, Joel. Hey, Holly, you want to take us through the results of the poll?
Yeah, I think y'all are doing a really great job of either feeding our audience some answers or we have goals aligning, which is what I think is really happening. But the attendees are definitely thinking that when it comes to top employers and what they're looking for in these candidates, communication skills and problem solving skills are kind of rising to the top as things that they think employers are looking for. And I've definitely heard from some of Joel's observations with some of his current employees that that's really important right now for sure. And then this idea of teamwork. And so those are actually some of the top 4 skills listed by employers nationally. So it's good to see that we're on track with some national polls. But do you feel like these align pretty well with what you're wanting in your workforce?
I'm going to kick that over to Marissa since she's one of our frontline managers. What do you think, Marissa?
I would say wholeheartedly yes. The things that I look for when I am hiring for someone who is definitely frontline is, are they able to take all of the information that a customer is given and come up with a tailored and personalized solution for them? Sort of like what Joel was saying, you really cannot do that without being able to really have a memorable connection with them. And you really have to go through that journey with them as well in order to do that. At the same time, we don't want someone who just comes in and comes out of work every day and comes to collect a paycheck. Team building and culture is still something that I really look for and I really value in my teammates, in my direct reports, in anything. Because that's what makes people want to come to work, those interactions, and especially in these, I'm going to say like the word of the year, these unprecedented times, it's really important to be able to connect with one another as people and have each other's backs and be able to support people. Sort of like when all of us thrive, then the single person thrives too.
Thanks, Marissa. Hey, I want to tee up another question and also remind folks that the Q&A is open. So just go ahead and leverage that tool down there. We'll get right to your questions, including the discount code. I see that question down there. Hey, what are some of your favorite things about the Eugene Springfield community? What do you love about it? Think about that maybe question from a place to work, but also to live and play. What do you love best about it?
So if you don't mind, I'm totally going to put you on the spot, dude. I'm sorry-ish, Tony. I'm going to ask you, given that Tony came out from Utah, and so,
I was about to say, yeah.
We introduced him to Oregon football, and I think he wore Utah stuff, Utes stuff into the office
I had
once.
Ducks.
You have Duck
No,
stuff now.
I didn't dare to wear any Ute stuff in the office yet.
So have we moved out here? What are you liking about it so far?
Yeah, so I come from Utah, which is a very outdoorsy type of environment out there. But coming out here, it's really lush and scenic, and so it really made me feel like home. And I just love how everybody's so into outdoors, because I am as well. Everything's so accessible. The beach is about an hour away, which is truly awesome. I think that was my first stops when I moved here. And so yeah, just the outdoor scene out here. And as far as just the city, I love the food scene. I love how it's really kind of a lot of companies are a startup vibe. I love seeing that. A lot of startup companies coming up and coming in the city, and watching a city grow in that sense. So Ogden was very much the same way. And after we hosted the Olympics, we had a bunch of the economy just blew up and the city just flourished. And so I feel like Eugene's going to do the same thing here. So
Awesome. Thanks, Tony. What about you, Jasmine?
Yeah, I think the nature is definitely a lot different than where I'm from, so I've really enjoyed that. There are more seasons than I realized existed in the world, so that's been exciting to explore. But for me, honestly, it's been the people. I say this to candidates a lot when I'm connecting with them during their phone screens, but we've been able to be really successful in the Springfield, Eugene area because it's easy for people who are naturally customer service focused to continue Wayfair's mission and vision forward. Everyone is so friendly when you go out and about. I think I've made more friends just going to get coffee than I ever have anywhere. Everyone just wants to chat with you, get to know you, and create that personal connection that we look for in our employees. So it's been really great. People are not quite as kind in the Midwest. They don't really want to have a chat with you at the grocery store while you order coffee. So I'm happy to talk to anybody.
Awesome. Thank you. Marissa, what about you?
I think we've already talked about the nature. We've already talked about the really cool people. So I'm going to address the fact that it's so business casual. It's so just casual. Like, there was a quote that I heard when I was younger saying, anywhere in Oregon, you can wear Birkenstocks and it would be fine. That apparently does not fly on the East Coast and in some other places. So being able to dress up as much as you want or as little as you like and still be able to represent yourself well really does exemplify the laid back culture that we have just as Oregonians. I think the most formal I've ever seen someone is like when they wear the North Face jackets. Like, that's pretty up there when it comes to dressing to impress.
Thanks, Marissa. Holly, you want to tell us about this fourth and final poll?
I definitely feel, I just moved here from Texas, so I definitely feel Marissa's perspective of the vibes around here. So our final question for tonight for our audience is this idea of how do you see your skill sets being a fit for this industry? And so just thinking about the types of things that you want to bring to the workplace, are those things that you think you could find a fit at Wayfair? And so I'll give people a couple more seconds to fill that out. But maybe that's a good time for us to kind of ask that question about what are some of those ways that you think, what are things that students could be doing right now if they wanted to be a part of your industry to start preparing to start applying?
So Marissa, since you were in that exact situation just about a year ago, do you want to throw an answer out there on that first?
Oh yeah, most definitely. So some of the things that you can be doing, don't just think about what you can do for customer service. So that's always a good thing out there, but we really want to also exemplify sort of the Wayfair culture and the Wayfair way. And like Joel was saying, a lot of that is community outreach. A lot of that is being willing to invest in things that you are passionate about. So before I even went to things, I was ready to jump in and make the community a better place just through Food for Lane County. And I was able to work at Green Hill for a while and just give my time in those areas. And that allowed me to make very genuine connections and really learn sort of people skills at the same time as really feeling in depth. It's not something that you always see as like job skills 101, but at Wayfair, we have such a high demand. There's so many people in the community that want to work for Wayfair that in order to set yourself out, you really want to be able to show that you can hit the ground running and that you're willing to show that Wayfair spirit even before you have this neat mirrored shirt on.
Awesome. Thank you. Jasmine, what do you think? What would you recommend?
Yeah, I would mirror that. I think you hear this a lot when you're about to graduate or looking for jobs in the market, and building your brand is really important. I mean, communication skills, critical thinking, problem solving, being able to demonstrate that is also critical, but what sets you apart? What makes you different than the other applicants? What have you done to contribute to your community or to learn new skills? Did you take time to teach yourself how to play piano? I mean, that's interesting and shows dedication and determination, and is not something we'd see on a lot of resumes. So keeping that in mind and just learning where to apply yourself and where to make yourself stand out is definitely what I would recommend.
I'd also recommend, like Jasmine and Marissa said, really we look at the whole person, when we're hiring somebody, and the job postings are getting more competitive. As we ramped up, we hired nearly 300 people in our customer service organization in 7 months. We were hiring, sometimes 60 to 80 people a month as we were ramping the site. And now that we've really gotten close to capacity, our hiring has slowed a little bit. We're still hiring, we still have needs and opportunities, but it's, on the order of, 10, maybe 20 a month more recently. And so, it's still the same number of people in the community, a smaller number of jobs that we're looking at filling at any given moment. And so the posting has become more competitive. So thinking about, what you bring to the table, how do you really ultimately align to our values and our focus? How can you demonstrate to or explain to us how you're wired to really be genuinely interested in serving and taking care of other people? And then articulate that to us in the interview process, I would say would be the big keys. So, Tony, anything else that you would add on that?
No, I think you guys covered it. For me, I don't always look at skills when interviewing somebody. Not as skills aren't important. I just think that hard skills are a commodity, where ambition and motivation and willingness to learn it is truly everything. If you can show me you're driven and eager, that can go a long way. I've seen a lot of people in this company succeed just because they're motivated and willing to put in the work. So yeah, just and patience, a lot of patience as well. And so those are kind of two main things. And then, last thing I would say is just not to overthink things. Interviews are never any fun. I hate interviews. It's mainly, due to stress, self-inflicted. But I see a lot of people come to interviews falling flat on their face just because they're just so nervous, go off on a tangent or lose their train of thought. A lot of our interview questions are situational based. So if someone can provide a specific example on how, they were able to handle a certain situation and really connect that with the question, that really helps you stand out in the interview process.
Ollie, it looks like we may have a really good match with our attendees. You want to take us through the results?
Sure, yeah. So it looks like a lot of our attendees think that the skills that they have would match well with the types of jobs that you've been talking about are available. One question I have is kind of a question for Marissa. Thinking about your background as a language learner, how has that kind of been something unique you've been able to bring to the table? And are there opportunities for people who speak other languages to actually use those languages at Wayfair?
Oh yeah, I can definitely talk about both of those points. To start with the first one, when you're learning a language and when you're speaking another language, it activates a different part of your brain where you have to find different ways to communicate things. Like, for example, when I was living in Japan, like there were some times that I had no idea what the word was. So instead of saying raincoat, I would say the coat that can't have water. And you have to find different ways of communicating things. And sometimes, especially in these positions, it really does help changing your communication style and meeting maybe another person's need in any area. So with customers, with people that are there, it fosters understanding a lot better. And as for language opportunities, we currently do operate in Canada. So we do have a French language speaking service areas, and then we also have Spanish speaking. Those are our two big ones. Internationally, we do operate out of Germany, so German speakers are also high in demand, especially for our business sectors and for service in the EU area. Those are our main three ones. If you go into logistics, there is some demand for East Asian languages, specifically with like Mandarin Chinese, Cantonese, and Vietnamese. Those are the top three that I've seen around, but really the main areas would be French and Spanish.
Very cool.
Love it. Hey, where do you guys post your jobs? Do I go to wayfair.com if I want to apply, or where is the best place to look for postings, open recs?
Yeah, so wayfaircareers.com will be all of our most up-to-date listings. That's the first place that we post. And then here locally, we do use Indeed and LinkedIn as well. So if you're out on Indeed, I know Indeed has quick apply for cell phones. So we definitely try to post our available positions there just for ease of use, and same with LinkedIn as well.
So one of the fun things that we like to do for attendees that make it all the way to the end of these webinars is to give them a special code word if they wanted to follow up with any of you for a question, or to learn more about Wayfair. I'm just going to go out on a limb and think that code word might be raincoat. I loved, Marissa, how you said the raincoat, or the coat that can't have water. I just that was great for me. So are we all thumbs up on code word raincoat? Love it.
We're down.
Love it. Any closing thoughts, guys, in the last 60 seconds or so that you'd like to wisdom you'd like to impart on students in our community?
That's a good question. No, I would just say, no, I don't know. What, Jasmine, Marissa, Tony, what do you guys have?
Don't sweat the petty things and don't pet the sweaty things. That's what I always tell them.
I like ending on that one.
Solid. Thanks so much for making time. Joel, Tony, Marissa, Jasmine. It's great to see you all. Holly, virtual high five. This was our first co-moderation. That felt like it went great. And to all the attendees in the audience, hope you're healthy and well. And we'll see you on the other side of this. Have a great day, you guys. Take care.
Take care. Thanks everybody for joining.